I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, June the 25th, 2014. Israeli President Shimon Peres arrived in the U.S. yesterday and met with U.S. President Barack Obama today at the White House. Peres and Obama also attended a meeting with American Jewish community leaders. Tomorrow, the Israeli president will receive the Congressional Medal of Honor at the Capitol, where he will also receive the 2014 Lantos Human Rights Prize. This is Peres' last trip abroad as president before he steps down next month. And while meeting with Obama today, Peres was expected to make his last official appeal for the release of Jonathan Pollard. Ahead of that meeting, a group of American constitutional and criminal law scholars wrote to Obama to ask that Pollard's sentence be commuted. Signatories include former Canadian Justice Minister Irwin Cotler, Harvard Law Professor Alan Dershowitz, and former president of the ACLU, Nadine Strossen. In the letter, the legal scholars wrote that such commutation is more than warranted if the ends of justice are to be served, the rule of law respected, and simple humanity secured. Pollard was convicted of spying for Israel in 1987 and is serving a life sentence. Israeli Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman is headed to Paris to meet with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. French news agency AFP reports that Lieberman will meet with Kerry tomorrow to update him on the kidnappings of the 3 yeshiva students that took place almost 2 weeks ago in the West Bank. He also plans to meet with French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius. And the IDF continues its search for the kidnapped boys overnight last night, arresting 17 Palestinian security suspects, including a member of the Palestinian Legislative Council and a senior Hamas member. Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon responded to reports that the IDF was perhaps scaling back its operation in the West Bank, saying today that that was not the case. Ya'alon said, "We are continuing our efforts, intelligence gathering, and ground operations to free the hostages and lay hands on the kidnappers." That, he says, has not changed. Several incidents of rocket fire into southern Israel took place last night. At least 3 rockets were fired into the Sha'ar HaNegev Regional Council and near Ashkelon last night. The Iron Dome missile defense system successfully intercepted 2 of the rockets, but 1 did land in an open area in the Sha'ar HaNegev region. Later last night, another rocket was fired from Gaza towards Israel, but landed short, falling instead within Gaza. There are conflicting reports that that rocket that fell short killed or injured a Palestinian child and wounded several family members. Israel's Air Force retaliated for the rocket fire into Israel last night, hitting several terror targets in Gaza, including underground rocket launchers and a weapons manufacturing site. The Jewish Exponent reports that a synagogue in Philadelphia was vandalized earlier this week with 2 large swastikas spray-painted outside the building. Members of conservative congregation Ner Tzedek in northeast Philly discovered the vandalism Monday morning. ADL's interim regional director Nancy Barron-Bear said of the incident, "Clearly we can scrub with soap and water a swastika or another hate symbol off a building. But it's a lot harder," she said, "to erase the fear that caused by the act," adding that a synagogue is a place where people should come to feel safe. Police are investigating the incident. Firefighters in Jerusalem are battling a fierce brush fire threatening homes in the neighborhoods of Kiryat HaYovel and Ein Karem. Nearby Yad Vashem, Israel's living memorial to the Holocaust, was evacuated as a precautionary measure, as firefighters made every effort to prevent the fire from reaching it. They said they hoped to have the blaze under control by later this evening. There were several reports of smoke inhalation, but no serious injuries have been reported. The first annual conference for members of the Jewish media took place in Jerusalem earlier this week. The challenges of reporting on Israel and the Jewish world was the theme of the conference, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the journalists gathered there from all over the world that Israel is the most challenged nation on earth, and I think you will discover this. But he said you will also discover something else, the unique capacity of the Jewish people in the Jewish state to overcome adversity and build a remarkable nation. Longtime head of B'nai B'rith Canada, Frank Diamond, will retire at the end of this year. The organization announced Diamond's departure after 36 years in their paper, The Jewish Tribune. In the announcement, Diamond was praised for his fight against anti-Semitism, as well as his efforts for Holocaust remembrance and for the elderly. The U.S. Department of State and the Yale Program for the Study of Anti-Semitism will sponsor a discussion tomorrow looking at the current state of anti-Semitism. Reality check, an examination of anti-Semitism in 2014, takes place at the Yale campus in New Haven. Panelists will include Special Envoy to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism, Ira Foreman. Veteran Jewish actor Eli Wallach has died. Wallach was born in Brooklyn to immigrant parents from Poland. He served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Wallach's prolific professional acting career spanned nearly 7 decades and included film, television, and the Broadway stage. Wallach won a Tony Award in 1951 for his Broadway performance in The Rose Tattoo. His many film roles include The Misfits, The Magnificent Seven, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Wallach was never nominated for an Academy Award. However, in 2000, he was awarded an honorary Oscar by the Academy, who called him the quintessential chameleon, effortlessly inhabiting a wide range of characters while putting his inimitable stamp on every role. He was married to actress Ann Jackson from 1948 until his death yesterday at the age of 98. He is survived by Jackson as well as 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and several great-grandchildren. In 2011, Mark Golub spoke with Eli Wallach at Belle Kaufman's 100th birthday.
Hello, Shalom TV. Belle Kaufman is a great lady. I knew her when she was 8 years old.
By the way, in all seriousness, when did you first meet?
Oh, many years ago. Many years ago. I was very proud of her. She's a brilliant mind, and she hasn't given up. I was 5 years in World War II. I was in Berlin in 1944. I was there a month after Hitler committed suicide. I was a captain in the army as a medical administrator. I'm 95 years old.
And I want you to know something, Eli. You have made a contribution to American life that is extraordinary. And it was a wonderful, wonderful joy for me to get to know you, to work on Tennessee Women's Remembered, and I love you very, very much.
And turning now to our Shalom TV programming for Wednesday, June the 25th. At 8 o'clock, a discussion hosted by Dr. Naomi Vilko on what it means to be pro-Israel, with Joseph Puder of the Interfaith Task Force for America and Israel, retired U.S. Colonel Chuck McHugh, and Charles Jacobs of the documentary J Street Challenge. Jacobs, who is also the co-founder of the David Project and Americans for Peace and Tolerance, then joins Mark Golub on L'Chaim at 9 to talk about his criticism of J Street, documented in the film J Street Challenge. That's tonight here on Shalom TV and ShalomTV.com. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, June the 25th, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.